The term Asian unicorn often brings to mind a delicate, stylized creature, a spiritual metaphor for good fortune found on silk tapestries. Actual 5th century BC records describe something far more substantial. They detail a physical, grounded entity with immense tangible mass. This is the Qilin. It is a 6-foot-tall biological chimera. Its anatomy features a thick, muscular torso armored in iridescent scales, fused to a draconian head with long, sensory barbels and branching antlers. Most striking is the creature's primary biological anomaly, a muscular frame perpetually wreathed in a brilliant, plasma-like fire that generates zero heat. This creates a physical paradox. Despite its ox-like bulk and armored plating, the Qilin moves through the forest with such lightness that it never crushes the vegetation beneath it. Ancient scholars were not writing mythology. They were attempting to document a highly elusive, biologically anomalous apex predator. A 15th century Ming Dynasty record provides a more technical look at this movement. A scholar meditating in the high mountains documented a dawn encounter where the creature's locomotion defied standard physics. He observed that as the massive beast walked, its cloven hooves never actually touched the grass. They hovered mere millimeters above the morning dew and the insects on the forest floor. This lack of physical impact suggests a mechanism that nullifies the creature's weight. Researchers now study these historical accounts through the lens of gravimetric dampening. The scholar watched the armored beast use this effect to bound effortlessly up a sheer vertical cliff face before vanishing into the mist. The Qilin's physiology is evolved for absolute environmental harmony, allowing a massive organism to inhabit a delicate ecosystem without leaving a trace. These peaceful traits are matched by a devastating capacity for defense. In the 12th century, a group of corrupt soldiers cornered a Qilin near a remote mountain monastery. As the armed men closed in on it, the creature's normally heatless aura suddenly flared into a blinding, highly destructive state. The beast reared up on its hind hooves to hold its ground within the bamboo grove. It released a torrent of sacred fire from its dragon snout directly toward the attackers. The fire acted with surgical precision. It instantly melted the soldiers' iron weapons into liquid slag. Yet the surrounding bamboo forest remained undisturbed. The heat vaporized the metal, but didn't singe a single leaf. This selective destruction allows the Qilin to neutralize a specific threat, while shielding the surrounding environment from even a flicker of thermal damage. Today, the Qilin has moved from ancient scrolls to the high-resolution heat maps of modern drone surveillance. AI research laboratories are now deploying advanced environmental monitoring grids into the most remote, pristine reserves of Asia. These systems scan for localized thermal anomalies that match the heatless fire described centuries ago. On a topographical map, this would appear as a distinct cold fire signature moving through the terrain. Scientists also analyze the soil for gravimetric footprints. They use AI to calculate the weight-to-footprint ratio, looking for tracks that are too shallow for any known large animal in the region. The legendary Chimera is finally moving into the range of modern sensors and mounted trail cameras. Finding the Qilin today would provide empirical evidence that a creature of such extreme environmental sensitivity can still thrive in our high-resolution technological world. For centuries, the Qilin was a creature of the archives, a chimera locked in folklore and the rigid lines of bronze statues. Biologists long dismissed these descriptions as cultural composites, assuming early observers had simply merged the traits of deer, oxen, and reptiles into a single symbolic deity. That classification is being challenged by modern research teams. Using AI pattern recognition and mobile field labs, investigators are documenting physical anomalies that do not fit within any known taxonomic branch. The modern investigation began in 1994, centered in the high, remote ravines of the Wudang Mountains. Conservationists and local monks reported a massive bioluminescent quadruped moving through the pass. They described a creature with a scaled, deer-like body and a dragon-like head, radiating a constant golden light. Investigators at the site documented a perfectly linear trackway consisting of heavy, cloven hoofprints. These tracks presented a mechanical paradox. Despite the depth of the impressions, the delicate moss inside the hoofprints remained completely uncrushed, showing no signs of the downward pressure typical of a large mammal. This lack of physical impact created a gap in traditional zoological theory, prompting the deployment of high-resolution sensors to capture the animal in motion. In 2012, the focus shifted to the dense primary forests of the Trong Son Mountains in Vietnam. A team of wildlife biologists conducted a standard survey for the rare saola, utilizing passive infrared monitoring. He then moved to the Shennangjia Forestry District to examine the legend's most complex claim, absolute benevolence toward the environment. The thermal data reveals a specific morphology: an ox-like torso, branching antlers, and a long reptilian tail. Sensors recorded a massive thermal output radiating from the body, with surface temperatures reaching over 300 degrees Celsius. Under normal conditions, this would cause the surrounding dry vegetation to ignite. However, the jungle floor showed no signs of combustion or heat damage. This registers as a persistent thermodynamic anomaly, a localized heat source that somehow remains isolated from its immediate biological environment. Further evidence was recovered from the Shennangjia Forestry District, where trackers followed a localized burst of light into a secluded clearing. The team discovered physical biological traces that provided a tangible link to the sightings. Large iridescent scales snagged on a thorn bush displayed a metallic texture. Directly beneath the bush, the soil was scorched in a precise circle. Despite the burn mark, fragile insects moved across the charred earth, entirely unharmed by the altering heat. This suggests a biological system capable of selective environmental interaction, protecting nearby organisms from its own high-energy output. These forensic artifacts align with descriptions of a creature that leaves the smallest life forms undisturbed, pointing toward a biological mechanism that actively shields its surroundings. In April 2026, an AI research laboratory deployed autonomous swarm drones over the virgin bamboo forests of Sichuan. Hyperspectral sensors quickly locked on to a brilliant, localized light source moving at high velocity through the dense bamboo stalks. The resulting 4K footage provides a clear look at a biological chimera, roughly 6 feet tall, cloaked in a localized plasma-like aura. By swabbing the bamboo leaves the creature brushed against, the drone was able to retrieve an eDNA sample for sequencing. Analysis revealed a highly complex genetic sequence. It contains a biological structure that does not correspond with any known database in modern taxonomy. This compounding data, the uncrushed tracks, the isolated heat signatures, and the unique genetic profile, suggests an entity that operates outside our current understanding of regional ecology. As we continue to map these remote reserves, the evidence indicates that biological anomalies, once categorized as legend, may simply be species awaiting a formal scientific framework.